everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are returning to the world of Kill Team in the 41st millennium, and we have the all-new Deathwatch Kill Team here. Really cool set of models from Games Workshop that they sent me earlier as part of the Tomb World box set to build up and paint with all of you, and that is exactly what we are going to be doing today, and I'm very excited. Deathwatch are something that is very dear to my heart, and I absolutely adore this kit. I think they look absolutely fantastic, and I hope you all agree and are interested to paint them. So without further ado, we're going to jump in and we're going to start doing that. Now we've got 5 of them here, and we've got a little bit of admin to get through. So first of all, they've all been primed in grey sear, all of them. Okay. And what we're going to do here basically is we're going to paint all of the details except for their chapter shoulders, so this shoulder, and then we're going to do all of those at the end before we get to the battle ready stage. So we'll do everything up to battle ready apart from the shoulders, and then we'll do the shoulders themselves. And this does mean that there is going to be some duplication of colours. For example, Black Legion, which is going to be our first colour, but we'll get to that in just a second. That's going to be duplicated on some of these shoulders, of course it is, but just for the sake of neatness, we're just going to do it all at the just before the halfway point, basically. So the first colour we are going to be using is Black Legion, and we're going to be applying this over the top of all of our Deathwatch's power armour and the soft joints in all of their armour as well. So we're just going to load up our brush and we're going to start applying this. Just like that. Oh, it feels good to be painting modern Deathwatch, honestly. So with all of that Black Legion applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Cygor Brown, and we're going to apply this over top of all of the leather. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Flesh Tearers Red, and we're going to apply this over the top of the weapon casings and over the top of any smooth cabling scattered around the models. So with all that Flesh Tearers Red applied, we're then going to take some Sigvald Burgundy. I'm going to apply this over the top of all the wax seals. So with that all done, we now take some Skeleton Horde, and we're going to apply this over the top of the parchment, and we're going to apply this over the top of the little skull of the servo skull on this gentleman's backpack. So with that all done, for our salamander, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Ratling Grime, we're going to apply this over the top of his face. And similarly for our Red Scorpion, who we also applied Skeleton Horde over his hair, we're going to take some Guilliman Flesh and we're going to apply this over the top of his face. So with that all done, it's now time to take some thinned down Leadbelcher. I'm going to use this to paint in all of the I guess you'd call it heraldic silver. This is going to be the left arm and shoulder, as well as any wings on their chests. With that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Karandras Green and we're going to apply this over the top of the Xenophase blade. And so with that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Larmian Medium and Dark Angel's Green, and we're going to do a little bit of blending on the blade here. So we're just going to bring it up to the base of the blade like that. We're then going to wash the brush, touch off the water, and then we're going to blend that green into the rest of the blade. Like so. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just like that. And so with that all done to the sword blade, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors and we're going to apply this over top of all of our remaining silver details. So this is going to be all the mechanical areas on the sword, any guns, backpacks, grenades, solid wiring, etc. There's a whole lot of silver. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Retributor Armour. And we're going to apply this over top of all of our remaining metallic details. So with that all done, it's now time to work on our shoulders. And we're going to start by taking some Black Legion. We're going to apply this over top of the field of 4 out of 5. So basically in my case it's all but the Ultramarine. So we've got a Scythe of the Emperor here. And we're going to apply the Black Legion over top of the field. We've got a Red Scorpion. We've got a Salamander. And I want to say Sable Swords. Either way. We're going to be applying this over the top of field of the shoulder, just avoiding the trim and the actual logo. For our Ultramarine, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Asurmen Blue. We're going to apply this over the top of the field of that shoulder. On our Red Scorpion, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Imperial Fist. And we're going to apply this over the top of the trim of his shoulder. But on the similarly to this, on our Scythe of the Emperor, we're going to apply this over the top of the sides. For our swords and salamander, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Nuln Oil and we're going to apply this over top of the marking on their shoulders. Whilst we've got it open, you might as well just shade the rest of the shoulder. Like that. And with that all done, we then take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Contrast, Medium and Ultramarines Blue. I'm going to apply this over top of our Ultramarines. And then next up, we're going to take some Karandras Green. We're going to apply this over top of our Salamander's shoulder trim. And with that all done, having applied some Nuln Oil over the top of the field of the Scorpion, and actually over the top of the Ultima as well on the Ultramarine, should just mention that, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Flesh Terror's Red. I'm going to use this to pick out the Scorpion and the trim of the circle. And then next up we take some Warp Lightning and we apply this over top of the green of our Salamander's shoulder. And so with that all done for our scythe and our sword, we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. We're going to apply this over the top of the trim of their shoulders. So with that all done, it's now time to add some shades. And the first of these is going to be some Coelia Greenshade. I'm going to apply this over top of the Heraldic Silver. This is going to be the wings and the shoulders and arms. This is because they've got a slight bluish quality to them, but I think we can do this in place of it being quite a vibrant thinning down of something like Talisar Blue. And it looks just as good, in my opinion. With that all done, we then take some Drakenhof Nightshade. I'm going to apply this over top of all of the black power armor. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is take some Agrax Earthshade. And we're going to apply this over the top of the Flesh Terror's Red on the weapons. And we're going to apply this over the top of the gold of the bullets and the heat shield of the Infernus Heavy Bolter. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade and we're going to apply this over top of all the other gold details. And for our final shade, we're going to take some Nuln Oil and we're going to apply this over top of all of our Iron Warriors. So with that all done, our Deathwatch veterans are now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready, and they're looking pretty cool. However, we're not going to leave them there, of course not. No, we're going to take them to the next level, and we're going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now, we're going to start off with the highlights, and we're going to start off with the one that's going to take the longest, unfortunately. We are, of course, talking about all of the black power armor. Now, the colour we're going to be using first to highlight this is some thinned down Thunderhawk Blue. And we're going to be using this, like I said, to highlight all of our black power armor. So with that all done, just before we spot highlight it, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Dawnstone. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the soft joints. So with all that Dawnstone applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Fenrisian Grey. I'm going to use this to spot highlight all of our bluish black power armor. So we're just going to pick out the sharpest points here. We don't need to do too much of this, because it already looks fantastic, but we're just going to look for things like the rivets and the sharpest upturned edges and corners and stuff like that. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Wazdaka Red. And we're going to use this to highlight the guns. So with that all done, our next colour is going to be some thinned down Pink Horror. I'm going to use this to highlight the wax seals. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some Evil Sun Scarlet, and we're going to use this to pick out the eye lenses on all our helmets, but we're also going to use this to pick out the eyes of our salamander. Speaking of our salamander, we're going to take some thinned down Karak Stone. I'm going to use this to highlight his face. With our salamander's face all highlighted, we're now going to highlight our red scorpion's face using some thinned down flayed one flesh. With that flayed one flesh all applied, but then take a tiny amount of Volupus Pink. I'm going to apply this over top of his tongue. And with that all done, we then want to once again take a tiny amount of Black Legion. I'm going to apply this over top of his eyes. And so with that all done, we then take a teensy tiny little dot of Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this in the corners of the eyes, but what we will also do with the Screaming Skull is we'll use this to pick out his teeth and highlight any parchment. So with that all done, our next job is to take some thinned down Leadbelcher. I'm going to use this to relayer the arm. And so with that all done, we now take some thinned down Iron Breaker, and we use this to highlight all of our silver details. And so with all that silver now highlighted, we're going to take some thinned down Liberator Gold. I'm going to use this to highlight all the gold. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take three colours: Asurmen Blue, Flesh Terror's Red, and Warp Lightning. I'm going to use this to do various different lenses and things, and this is kind of like painter's choice at this point, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take some Flesh Terror's Red and I'm going to apply this over top of the lenses and things on our Blade Master. Like that sort of thing. I'm going to wash the brush. Now I'm going to grab some Asurmen Blue. And I'm going to apply this inside this little searchlight here. That sort of thing. Similarly on things like this individual. I'm going to use some Warp Lightning for his scanning equipment. So with that all done, you should have a kill team that now looks thusly. It's looking absolutely fantastic. But of course, there's a last couple of details to do, and this is all the kind of, well, specific things to specific Space Marines. So that's what we're going to do now. And helpfully, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down moot green, and we're going to use this to highlight both our Salamander's shoulder trim and our Xenophase blade. So we'll demonstrate this on the Xenophase blade. I'm going to take that thinned down moot green, and we're just going to pick out all of the edges. So with that moot green all applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Fleshshade yellow. And we're going to use this to highlight our Scythe of the Emperor and our red scorpion. So with that all done, we're now going to take some thinned down Cygor Blue. I'm going to use this to highlight our Ultramarines shoulder pad. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Corax White. I'm going to use this to highlight all the white details. And so to finish off our Deathwatch kill team, we're going to take some thinned down Evil Sun Scarlet. I'm going to use this to highlight our Red Scorpion's badge. And so with those bases completed in the same style as I, well, normally do things, Stirl and Mud, Tyrant Skull, and a couple of tufts from Gamer's Grass, our Deathwatch veterans are now finished. And like I said at the top of the video, it was really fun to paint some Deathwatch again, especially ones that are brand new and sculpted properly for the right size. Just, you know, having the correct shoulder pads, for example, is, well, it's a really cool thing. Lovely unit. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.